All right, what's up? Welcome to the Nick and Joey show. I got Joey here, and I'm your host, Nick. Joey's busy doing something else. I don't know what he's
I'm
doing.
here. Woo! I'm
He's
here.
there. All right. He missed the big intro, but that's cool, man. I got something else lined up for him later that's going to blow his mind. So, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. This is episode 5 of Nick and Joey show, and we are actually live on Facebook right now and live on YouTube. So if you want to join into the show, man, if you want to question or comment, you just want to talk some shit, go ahead and jump on and let us know what you're thinking, man. So what's up, Joey? How you doing, brother?
I'm good, bro. Do I see no earphones in your ears? Or
Yeah, they got this new feature that allows it does noise cancellation and feedback cancellation if we don't have like professional mics and earphones and stuff like that. So it sounds pretty good. I'm not getting any feedback from your side.
Yeah, I love it.
So I'm giving it a shot.
So everything's great, my friend. So much stuff going on in the news. I think the big news is we finally, after 4 shows, we have a new name for our show. The winner. Well, let's tease it. We're not going to give it out right now.
Okay.
The winner. He's got his money. I sent it to him. You can vouch for that, right, sir?
Yeah, I can vouch for that. Yep.
Okay.
That is true.
And you can reach myself at Joey is Pimp on Twitter. Not the most professional name, but I've had it for a long time. And Nick, you're at the.nick.yaya.
.yaya, and that's on YouTube or on Instagram. But you will also find me on Twitter at NickYaya111, as well as on Facebook at NickYaya111. So you guys want to reach out to me as well, you can do it that way.
So one thing I love about our show, we never. So one thing I've in radio, I always try to keep everything organic, and I don't like to discuss stuff before with my partner. A lot of guys like say, "Hey, we'll talk about this, and we'll get into a fight about this." And like on ESPN, are you familiar with a show called Pardon the Interruption? Or there's a guy Skip Bayless on Fox Sports, and they have a show where no matter what the subject is, one guy takes one side, and even if the other guy agrees with him, he's going to take the other side just to disagree with him, and they'll fake fight about it, whatever. You and I, we agree politically on pretty much everything. We haven't got into any fights yet. I'm sure that's going to happen. Not, a friendly kind of fight. Sure. But, everything is like, it's not scripted. It's not planned. I have no idea. You're the one that sets up the show, and we move along at your pace. So I'm ready. Bring it. I know there's going to be a lot of Hunter Biden talk, I hope. A lot of stuff in the news going on. The Hillary emails, dude. I got fire. Let's go.
For real, man. Yeah. No, for sure, dude. There's a lot of stuff. In fact, there was something. Speaking of Biden, man, there was something I posted up on Facebook yesterday that a lot of people are talking about, and this CIA operative apparently has come forward along with the father of one of the members of SEAL Team 6 that was killed after the whole Benghazi incident, after the whole Bin Laden raid went down. And now I'm bringing it up because now I've just got new information that leads me to believe that perhaps that's actually a psyop to distract away from and this whole painting Biden in this negative light as seen as like some kind of like, oh, that's just some kind of conspiracy theory. Never mind, Biden wasn't involved in any of it. So, dude, there is some weird shit going on out there on the internets right now.
Just so you know, I have a friend. He's Afghani, and he told me in 2007 or so. I don't know if it was right before. It was right before Obama became president. I don't even know if he was running it. But my friend was telling me. I mean, 2008. I still thought at that time that Osama bin Laden was responsible for 9/11. 2011 is when I came around. But this one friend was telling me, and his whole family lives in Afghanistan. He's like, dude, Osama bin Laden's dead, right? I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, dude, everybody knows he had stomach cancer and he died like in 2006. I'm like, are you serious? And then when that whole thing happened, when Obama took him out, my friend's like, dude, that he's dead. Like, I know, like, I think this guy's second cousins with him or something. And so it's my friend Tariq. And this guy's one of those guys, a lot of guys are full of shit. This guy, like, he tells me the truth about everything. So he said that, I mean, now for sure I know it was a bot. Now knowing what I know about 9/11 now,
yeah,
he was dead. That was a body double.
Right.
It was like some heavier set guy. And, if that was a real, can you imagine if it was real and Donald Trump is the one that took him out? You think there's going to be this bullshit burial at sea?
No.
No, you're going to freaking fly, like George Bush did with Saddam's kids.
Right. They kept him on ice just so he could prove and show that, look, we got him.
There you go.
Thing, man. And here's the thing is that bin Laden died quite a while ago, and he died of natural causes. He died of a disease that he had, which affects
this.
The liver. I forget what it's called.
Yeah, liver. Yeah, it was something with his liver. Yeah, but my friend
starts with an R.
Yes.
It's like Raynaud's disease or something like that. Some kind of disease that affects people who are extraordinarily tall, as he was. It was the same disease that apparently that Abraham Lincoln had.
Oh, wow.
And, so he died. And in fact, he was, according to this source, the guy that I was listening to today, and I still have to go and watch his video. It's about an hour and 20 minutes long. I haven't seen the whole thing, but I've actually heard about him on Alex Jones on InfoWars. So he had him on as a guest, and he was like, "Look, man, this whole new video that's making its rounds around Facebook. Think about this: the reason that, first of all, it's not being censored on Facebook. They're not fact checking it. All right." There's a reason for that. They're allowing it to make the rounds, and he's making the case that it's set up as a psyop to distract, as these things usually are, by the CIA, by this guy who appears in the video, who appears to be a CIA asset, who was in Iran, who was running some kind of falconer operation, and Bin Laden would come and he would hunt, and apparently Bin Laden was in Iran for a long time, and then the Obama administration paid them hush money, blackmail money to keep quiet that he was in Iran. Then he got shipped over to Abbottabad, or Islamabad, I'm sorry, in Pakistan, right? And then that's where the raid went down, right? And he says that during the course of the raid that it was not him, it was a body double, that they actually chopped his body up over the Hindu Kush mountains and like threw out body parts out of the helicopter. It's like some crazy ass shit, right? So, but basically the dude is saying that that's all BS, man, and that Bin Laden's been dead since he was in a hospital in Islamabad. There's records of this in 2001 before the attacks took place on 9/11, right? So dude, so just to cut the story short, back to what you're talking about, how we've been doing all this research into 9/11 and all this and figuring out that it was an inside job, that it was all a bunch of bullshit, that he was just a cutout. He was just a
scapegoat, kind of.
Thank you. Yeah. He was a scapegoat for this stuff. And it actually was a CIA inside job meant to instill fear in the American public and push us towards more wars in the Middle East, and to steal trillions of dollars like they did the day before 9/11 happened, and all the records of that were destroyed in the Pentagon when the plane hit. So yeah, it's more and more is coming out. And I was really happy to hear this new news come out, because it implicates Hillary, Biden, Obama in the death of the Marines that occurred in Benghazi, but also SEAL Team 6. It implicates them in that as well.
But Nick, really quick, sorry to interrupt. There is one guy, I watch him on Fox. There was on the 9/11 19-year anniversary show. There was one guy who supposedly went in there and he was the one that pulled the trigger. So I don't know what that guy's deal is. Like, I know he's selling books, but so what happened? So SEAL Team 6 ended up crashing somewhere, right?
Well, they were sent in a Chinook. All like 20 guys were sent in a Chinook helicopter, which is an ancient helicopter that moves really slow. They don't normally send in SEAL team guys in these helicopters. They send them in fast attack helicopters. So what they would have done is they would have put them in groups of 7 in 3 helicopters, and then shot them into this location to take care of whatever deal it was. But what they did was they brought them in this slow moving Chinook, And instead of dropping in and letting them all out, they quick roped out of the helicopter. But before they could do that, they were taking fire. They took missile fire on the helicopter, and apparently there was also a bomb on board. Blew the thing to smithereens, and they all died. So it's a dirty op, and Obama and Biden and Clinton have their fingerprints all over this thing.
But are they going to get? Is something going to happen? Because
well, the guy says he's got not only documents but audio recordings of them that are verifiable.
And what do they say? Like
he's turning it over. He's given it to one member of Congress, one congressman, and President Trump retweeted out the story that someone else had put out. So yeah, he did. Yeah.
So like Trump knows, I know he knows. I know he's known for a long time. Like it's not even. I don't even think it's these architects came out. 2,000 or 3,000 architects that came out. Once again, my buddy Kurt Reynolds, I love the guy. He thinks everything is if I think he makes fun of me, like, oh, where's your tinfoil hat? But these, remember the magazine,
Architects and Engineers Against 9/11.
Right, but do you remember who gave the end all report? The government paid which magazine to do a report about 9/11? Popular Mechanics. Remember that?
Oh.
They did Popular Mechanics is supposedly they did a whole investigation and they found out that it really was planes. It's such an insult to my intelligence and so these architects, what were they called again? Architects and Engineers for 9/11?
Yeah. Exactly.
They have so much proof, and it's 2,000 or 3,000 architects that said there's no way, especially Building 7. A lot of their
Building 7 is the obvious smoking gun because no plane hit it. There were minimal fires throughout the building. Okay, fires have never ever caused the collapse of a building. There was a high-rise fire somewhere in Malaysia, I believe, where the entire thing went up in flames and the building didn't come down. Okay, historically, it has never happened before or since. All right, and Building 7, in my opinion, is the smoking gun. It tells you everything you need to know right there, that this thing was an inside job, that the building was either rigged or, as one of the people that you brought to my attention, that it was the subject of a directed energy weapon, which weakened its infrastructure and brought it down. It essentially disintegrated the steel. Now, the thing that architects and engineers brought up about Building 1 and 2 is that the way physics works, okay, you've got, I can't show it too much here on the camera, but you've got right here is, 2/3 of the building and then right above is where the plane hit. And then you've got another third up here. Now, the way physics works is while this is pushing down, all right, the same an equal or greater amount of force is pushing up. So for this little bit, while it's pushing down on this other stuff, a greater force is pushing up against it. So there is absolutely physically no way that top portion could have pancaked and collapsed down the rest of the building. It is physically impossible. I'm talking about physics, dude. I'm talking about science. I'm talking about fucking mathematics. There's absolutely no way it could have been done unless there were charges. There were placed charges. They showed the diagonally cut beams, which are signature of shaped charges. Then there's also the theory that it was a directed energy weapon. And in that video, you could see steel beams flat out disintegrating into thin air, turning into dust, bro.
Yeah. I mean,
it's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. And I don't think people are ever going to forget, or are we ever going to walk away from this thing, dude? Not until those who are perpetrated it have been brought to justice.
Well, let's hope that happens. But, another thing is we were talking about the CIA before, and all these things. I know that we talked about this at the last show. I'm starting to study gematria and how these things work, and they called 9/11 it was called the new Pearl Harbor. Remember that?
Right.
And so Pearl Harbor happened on December 7th. What buildings went down in the World Trade Center? 1, 2, and 7. 12-7. If you think about it, it's like the same. These things, right? It's crazy. So what my theory is that the missile that was shot down in Shanksville, that was supposed. I think that was one that was headed to Building 7, and they had all the explosives ready to go. And I think NORAD shot it down, or I think somebody shot it down because the witnesses in Shanksville said that there was a plane flying behind it, and they shot something and it crashed in the sky. But then you saw the hole in the ground. It's like the size of my kitchen table. Like that was not the size of an airplane. And don't forget, not only was that 9/11 the first day in history where buildings collapsed because of office fire, it's also where complete airplane parts and bodies disintegrated after hitting the ground at the Pentagon and in Shanksville.
Right.
I mean, have you seen the pictures? Like I've seen pictures of remember it was Russia shot down that plane coming over the Ukraine, remember?
Yeah.
And there's like all these like dead bodies in the street and airplane chairs and fuselage and fires.
Right.
For this stuff, there was none of it. So I think the explosives were set or whatever it was. Because don't forget too, I don't talk about this, but there was that BBC reporter standing there in a studio, and she said, "Building 7 behind me also collapsed," and Building 7 behind her
standing there.
Yeah, I mean, how can we get people to open their eyes and see the problem with me and you and coronavirus and all this stuff? You and I know better, but we have these same people that put all their trust in government
and media.
And media and government go hand in hand. And the thing is, like, the only mind fuck for me right now, and we both like the guy, is Donald Trump. Like, I'm trying to figure out what he knows, what he doesn't know. So my question for you is,
we have a quote. We have a. Go ahead with your question, but we have someone chiming in with a comment on the beam. Finish your statement.
Okay. So the last time we went on the air, Donald Trump had not tested positive for coronavirus yet. He tested positive really late on a Thursday night. He left the hospital on a Sunday night or Monday morning. He's fine. He's totally great. Do you really think he had it?
I do. And I think that it proves that the disease is nowhere as dangerous or as deadly as they say it is. It's a real virus.
Yes.
All right. Just like the flu, just like the cold, just like any of these other years. But I think we have the therapeutics to deal with it now, much better than we did before. And there's absolutely no need for a vaccine.
Dude, when I tell you, I have a friend, his name is Richard Lima. I set him and his wife up, God, it's been 30 years ago at the gym here in Chatsworth Powerhouse. And if you look up the definition in the dictionary of Greek God, you will see my friend Richard Lima. He's a model. He lives off a plant-based diet. He wakes up at 2:30 in the morning. He bikes like 100 miles. He jogs. So he got coronavirus. He said he never, ever, ever one time left the house without his mask on, only to ride his bike.
Dude, did you see the recent CDC report that came out? And we'll come back to Kurt here in a second, the guy that made a comment about 9/11.
Yeah, that's the guy that I was telling you about before.
Yeah, we'll come back.
To be a doozy.
Yeah, we'll come back to Kurt in just a second. But just to kind of finish off what we're saying here, I'll even pull it up. I'll pull it up in a second, dude. There's a CDC study that came out that showed that there was a group of people 18 years and up. So these are all adults that went to non-hospital clinics. So these are doctors' offices, and they presented with and were diagnosed as having COVID-19. 71% of them reported that they wore their masks all the time.
Yeah.
Another 14% reported that they wore their masks most of the time. So that's 85% of the people who got COVID wore their masks pretty much all the time. All right. The other 15%, you break it down sometimes here and there, and then it was like 1.4% never wore their masks.
Right.
So the masks don't fucking work. I keep telling people this. They don't work. They never work. They're not going to work. All right. And then there's all these false positives because of the PCR testing, which has been shown again and again and again to report 90% false positives. If you got like just the smallest bit of the virus in your system that maybe you had a cold 5 years ago, or maybe you even got COVID, but you never really got infected by it, never really affected you, you never showed any symptoms or anything, it'll still show you as a positive. And that's what they're doing now. They're not listing any of the people who are actually sick, any of the hospitalizations, or any of the actual deaths, man. They're pushing all the people, all the new cases, man. My roommate got tested 3 times, bro. 4 times. 3 of them came back positive. You know what those are? 3 new cases.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know. And
right?
you know, the thing about my friend. Go ahead. Sorry.
So that's what they report as. You know, that's how they report that. You know, all these new cases. That, you know, it's a freaking. You know, it's weird because, dude, the more testing that goes on, the more cases they get, right? So there's this correlation. You know, we start testing more, there's more cases. Oh my God, we got to shut down again. So it's all a bunch of BS, man. But look, before we get too far away, I think he might have left, but Kurt said that on 9/11 the beams didn't disintegrate. The fire weakened the beams, which caused them to sag and expand. Also, there was no water in New York on 9/11. So, all right, Kurt, you know, even
there
if
was no water, what did he say?
He said there was no water in New York on 9/11. I don't know what that means. That means that maybe they couldn't fight the fire or something. I don't know.
You gotta know about Kurt. So I'll tell you really quick. So Kurt and I went to junior college together. He's one of my best friends. So I told you the story about the Marine from my gym who was telling me that 9/11 was an inside job in Sandy Hook. Like, I would get so pissed at him. After 5 years, I finally looked and I did all my research. And I kid you not, Kurt, in 1991, we went to College of the Cannons together. And Kurt used to tell me all the time, dude, our government is evil. Our government, like, you know, I'm sick of us being the babysitters of the universe. And, you know, we don't mind our own business. So when I called him at 5 I couldn't wait to call him at like 5 a.m. I'm like, Kurt, I'm sick to my stomach, dude. We did 9/11. It was us. Like, I cannot believe it. And he's like, dude, you're being stupid. Like, there's no way. And so since that day was 2011, I cannot get him to see the light.
All right. So he's saying that the sprinklers didn't work. There was no water to fight the fires on 9/11.
Can you imagine? What are the chances?
Right. But he also says that it wasn't the Popular Mechanics wasn't the magazine. It was NIST, the National Institute for Safety and Technology, I believe. That's what
it was Popular. No, it was Popular Mechanic. You can Google it.
And it says it was NIST who reverse engineers building collapses. The findings were peer reviewed by scientists all over the world. Yeah. All right.
So by the government paying them, right?
Right. So we've got peer reviewed reports over COVID as well, man. I mean,
I was just gonna say, like,
both ways. 455 people were exposed to symptomatic persons, visibly symptomatic persons. Yet all 455 of those people did not present or did not test positive for COVID-19. And that was peer reviewed. And it was recognized by the World Health Organization.
Oh, yeah.
That was back in June. And yet here we are, still locked down. Still, people still wearing masks. Why is that, man? I mean, dude, I mean, I respect peer-reviewed journals and peer-reviewed studies. And Kurt, you know, I thank you for bringing that up. But the fact of the matter is, bro, is that if it strays from the narrative, then it doesn't matter. If it reinforces the narrative, then it's actually it's questionable, to be honest with you. I know it sounds conspiracy theory. I know it sounds tinfoil hat, but it goes against what the engineers and architects are saying, is that the upward force of that building, we're talking about physics here, and I'm not an engineer, all right, but they broke it down in simple terms. The upward force of that building would have held the top little portion of that was pushing down on it. All right. So,
but you know, so Kurt, his theory is that they have videos of the airplane hitting the Pentagon. He said, but the U.S. government is trying to be kind to the families that were lost. I'm like, dude, how come there's videos of the airplanes, the 2 airplanes in the World Trade Center? Right. And I said, what about the George Floyd thing? Like, how many times are we going to see the Officer Chauvin with his fucking knee pinned on the back of the guy's neck? Like, they don't have a problem showing that. In fact, they keep showing it more and more because they want to, you know, stir. Right. Yeah. So that's his excuse. Like, dude, like I said.
And so Kurt says here, he says, so every building engineers all over the world conspired to lie about 9/11. Well, wait a minute, Kurt. We're not talking about every engineer. There's a group of engineers that are paid off by the government and by the insiders.
I always told them
to lie about 9/11. But there are, 5,000 some engineers that have come forward, architects and engineers that have come forward and said that this is the facts. What the official report is the lie. These are the facts based on evidence, based on physics, based on science. All right, based on fucking gravity, man.
Dude,
you know?
did you see? There's if you go on that architects and engineers page, there's a Canadian group or something that they have so many videos of 9/11, how it's such bullshit. There's like a Canadian architects or something. I'm not sure what they're called. They're on that webpage, but they go even deeper. But you know, the architects and engineers, they slow motion, they show the things being blown out before the fall. It's just, and then Kurt, the other thing is, I was explaining to him, is there's 145 families that are in that lawsuit with the architects and engineers because they know it's bullshit. You know,
right.
It's just, and like I said, just show me one plane of a picture. I don't even need a video. Show me a freaking picture of a plane above the Pentagon, and I'm sold for life. I'll never think of any Sandy Hook conspiracy, 9/11, coronavirus. You see, now that I know how coronavirus works, it just strengthens my resolve that 9/11 was fake.
Here's their website.
There we go.
Here it is. Now,
but that's not good enough for Kurt.
No. If anybody wants to see this, it's World Wide Web, AE911truth.org. Architects, engineers, 9/11 truth. AE911 truth.
And you know, Nick, when I try to share this stuff,
here's the NIST document that Kurt's talking about right here.
Yeah.
See that? All right. You know, we can go to that.
But the Popular Mechanics, if you go to Popular Mechanic, they're like they were the experts that did the first study that said, "Oh, see, it was terrorists."
Well, I don't see the Popular Mechanics.
I mean, if you Google Popular Mechanics,
you want me to pull that up?
Yeah, you'll see. It's that they were the original ones.
All right.
And they got Ed Asner as their spokesperson. I think Ed Asner's dead though, isn't he?
I don't know, but he played the voice of God in a book called Conversations with God in the audio version. Okay, here we go. So popularmechanics.com, 9/11 conspiracy theories. This is from September 9th, 2020. Okay, no, that's not what we're looking for.
But you can Google Popular Mechanics does the 9/11. It was like 2007, I think it came out.
Okay,
that's the one. That's the one. Kurt knows about it. He's referenced it so many times with me. But guys like Kurt, I always tell him, we always go at it, and I say, dude, your brain just doesn't want to work. Your brain will never see it. It'll never, no matter what. Yeah, I mean, it almost has to be like somebody has to come up and say, listen.
Here we go.
Popular Mechanic.
Well, it's okay. This is interesting. I'm gonna pull this up here. We're gonna share this right now. We're gonna view it together in real time with our audience here. All right. So this is in 2007. Popular Mechanics.
That's it, right there.
World Trade Center 7 report puts 9/11 conspiracy theory to rest. Fucking hell! You gotta be kidding me.
I mean, dude, seriously, like this is the one that Kurt used to throw in my face all the time. I'm like, dude. You know how much money the government probably gave these guys to co-sign on it? Come on.
For sure. I mean, look, okay, here it is. Conspiracy theorists have long pointed to the collapse of the 47-story structure and they misspelled story. All right.
Get out of here. Where do you see that? Wait.
Right here. Story. When you're talking about a building, story is spelled with an E. STOREY.
Oh, EY. Okay.
All right, so they misspelled story. All right, so first of all, that's a big red flag right there. These guys know what the fuck they're talking about. But anyway, conspiracy theories have long pointed to the collapse of the 47-story structure as key evidence that the U.S. government orchestrated or abetted the 9/11 attacks. No plane struck the building, and the commonly available views of the exterior didn't show significant damage. Yet at 5:20 p.m., 7 hours after the collapse of the Twin Towers, World Trade 1 and 2, World Trade 7 rapidly fell in on itself. And since World Trade 7 housed Secret Service and CIA offices, conspiracy theorists claim that the building was destroyed in a controlled demolition in order to obliterate evidence of the U.S. government's complicity in the terrorist attacks. It is impossible, quote, it is impossible for a building to fall the way it fell without explosives being involved, stated actress and TV personality Rosie O'Donnell of ABC's The View in March 2007.
She finally got something right.
Yeah, right. For the first time in history, steel was melted by fire. It is physically impossible, she said, which is true. And apparently Kurt disagrees with us. He says, I don't know, he says this is clickbait. All right.
Oh, that's his favorite term, clickbait.
Right. But, today's report confirmed that fire was indeed the cause, which is fucking bullshit, man. The fire is not hot enough to melt steel. It is a fact. It is a fucking fact. Oh my God, dude.
Yeah, I know. Now you know how I feel dealing with critical government, but
wow.
It's just because their minds think like our government could never do that. Governments have been doing that since the beginning of time to their people.
Bro, you want to know what kind of stepping away from this for a second, the new thing that I'm investigating right now and I'm hearing about, and what I actually suspected for a while is that this whole COVID-19 thing is part of a globalist rollout just to take over and consolidate power amongst the banksters and the people with the power already. And I'm watching this report from this woman tonight who says that you can do this overlay of a map on the maps of the 34 cities in which all these riots occurred, and 30 of which have federal banks in them. All right, which is kind of weird. All right, this is part of this whole federal takeover. But in all of them is the overlay of these empowerment zones. So you've got all these businesses, all these small mom and pop businesses along these roads in these empowerment zones. And actually, I can actually pull up that. I can pull that one up and show you guys. And what it shows is that they were targeted. And so they take out all these small businesses in order to come back in and scoop up all that property that was destroyed, and use that empowerment zone money and rebuild and again consolidate power with the big box stores and the big chain stores and your Amazons and your Walmart and so forth.
Yeah.
Right. And shit goes deeper, and I'm still investigating this. I mean, they're talking about stopping cash altogether.
Dude, I've now gone to 2 places where they don't take cash. I mean, that's freaking me out. There's a place in Port Orange called Paxie's Pizza, I think it's called. No cash. The other day I was driving in my car. I was in the mood for a shake. There's a place called Shake Shack on Topanga Canyon Boulevard. I go in, I ordered, and I take out my money. The girl's like, "Oh, we don't take cash anymore." I'm like, "What?" She goes, yeah. And I'm like, "I don't have any card with me."
All right, here it is, bro. Look at this. Look at this. So this is in Minneapolis, right? So the red X's represent local and regional chain stores. The gray X's represent national or international stores. And these yellow overlays, these little yellow boxes, are the empowerment zones. And so you can look where they intersect with, like right down here, this huge number of businesses that were damaged were all in this empowerment zone. This is in Minneapolis. Okay. You can look at a closer look at that street right there, and you can see all of these businesses that were along in this empowerment zone that were damaged, but everything outside of it was not. All right. And there's evidence to show that that Antifa and these guys were given maps. To show them what to destroy in these cities. And so this is a coordinated effort.
Oh, absolutely.
From these globalists, man, to essentially, bring us, dude, it's all a part of what they call the Great Reset, which they're rolling out at Davos in January. And they're like, oh, it's all about, saving the environment and reversing global warming. And what it is, bro, it's the destruction of democracy. It's destruction of capitalism. It's the destruction of small business, mom and pop, the middle class, all of it, bro, to make us all debt slaves. Yeah. And which we already are to a large degree. But I mean, to take it to the nth degree further, than to remove cash from the system completely and make us now on a debit credit or a debt and credit system.
Yeah.
And they can shut you off at any fucking time, man. If you disagree, if you're an outlier like we are, if you're a conspiracy theorist, if you're someone who challenges what the official narrative is, well, they can just shut down your account, bro. Then you're done. And so we're heading into some dangerous territory here where I encourage people, again, like I encouraged you in previous episodes, there's a couple things you need to do. One of them is get armed. Okay. Get armed, get ammunition, and learn how to use that damn thing. All right. Second, get cash, either cash or gold or silver. All right. Hard assets and currency that you can use to trade in this post-apocalyptic world that we're going to be living in. And there's going to be a black market system that's set up where, from everything from labor to working to buying food to getting drugs and medicines and stuff. And you're going to need currency and things to trade in that black market, to trade off the grid, because that's where we're heading. And these are some dangerous times, folks. And so you need to start thinking about that. You need to start getting yourself some storable food.
So
you need to get yourself a way to filter and purify water, and do it quickly, because the time is coming where you won't be able to soon. So do it now.
I have a quick question. So let's say somebody has $350,000 in a safety deposit box somewhere. What good is that going to do? Yeah, cash.
I would say get it out of that bank, man, and put it into a safe in your house.
Yeah, but what good is it going to do if they say, "Oh, cash isn't"? They have to reward. They have to.
Okay.
Whoever's in charge of this cabal, whatever, they have to. What's that?
Look. Okay. I mean, if I had 350 grand cash, all right, I would take 100 of that, maybe, or 150 of that, and put it digitally into the system, just to have something
like Bitcoin
to use. No, digitally, I mean, like deposit it into a bank, and so then it's digitally available in that bank. But the physical cash, the 200 grand I had left, I would hold that in reserve and stash that and use that as a way to interface with the black market economy that is definitely going to come as a result of this, man. People aren't going to just take this shit lying down. It's going to be like selling drugs back in the day. It's going to be like selling weed or cocaine or whatever it is, man. It's a black market economy that's based on cash.
But the only problem is what happens if these restaurants are only, even McDonald's will say no cash. Nobody's taking cash. So what good is this cash going to be?
Again, black market economy. So people are going to be developing goods and services that are cash based, people that are living off the grid. There's going to be a group of people that aren't going to comply with this. They're going to have to, because they're not going to be able to interface with the new economy, with this new cashless society. And so it will be, okay, first of all, there's going to be a whole group of people that won't be able to work because they're not going to take the vaccine. That includes you and me.
Yeah.
Okay. And so there's going to be this whole now work economy based on people who haven't taken the vaccine, who are willing to do work, and people who are willing to hire people who will do work without doing the vaccine. This is kind of like the under the table cash work economy that's going on with illegal immigrants right now.
Right.
Okay. And so we'll essentially become like illegal immigrants in a sense here in the US, in that we will have to be working for cash under the table. And that will become, then within that economy will be this cash flow where people will be paying for food grown in people's backyards, or whatever, man. I mean, it's going to get like that, dude. I had to look every so often, and this doesn't happen to me very often, but every few years I have these prophetic dreams, and I know them when I see them. I know them when they occur to me. And in this one in particular that I had maybe 10 or 15 years ago now, I was in this city. I was on the edges of this city the city was all filled with light, and it had, like, how playgrounds have that really soft, like spongy material everywhere, so kids can't hurt themselves now. The whole city was like that. Even the trees and the buildings and like the benches and everything was all this like spongy foam thing, so nobody could hurt themselves. And everything was lit up with lights, and it was beautiful. It was all LEDs like everywhere. And then on the outskirts of town, it was just like, kind of like dirt and run down. And there was this group of people that came into town, and they had raggedy clothes, and they were totally ratty. And I recognized them as the people that did not accept the vaccine. And this is long before we're talking about vaccines, all right? And in my mind and in my dream, that's what it was. There was a group of people that were the outsiders that did not accept the vaccine. And that's what I see is going to happen. And I know I'm probably going to be a part of that group. And I'm okay with that because I'm not going to take that fucking poison, man. I'm not going to take Bill Gates's, hook you into the matrix fucking injection, man. Because that's what it is.
Isn't it insane that, so did you see the Wuhan lab, the address of where it started?
Kurt says you'd have to deposit and pay taxes on it. Kurt, all right, that money's already had taxes paid on it. It doesn't matter if you deposit into a bank. You don't have to pay taxes on money you already paid taxes on. I get you, but fuck the government and fuck their taxes. So anyway, moving on. Go ahead.
So the Wuhan lab where this coronavirus, does anybody doubt anymore that it started in the lab? I mean, where are we now, people?
Well, I don't know. I think Wolf Blitzer does, and pretty much everybody at CNN doubts it, and fucking MSNBC.
No, I think they know. I think they know. There's that. I mean, do you really think Wolf Blitzer and Jake Tapper and Don Lemon, all these guys, they know this is bullshit? Aren't they smart? I mean, they're just like they have to go with the company line, like. Whoever's in charge of the media, they have to still instill the fear. Like there's still people that are scared. I have this, what's that neighborhood watch? I don't know what it's called. There's like a neighborhood. Each neighborhood has their own, community has their own web, app that you go to. And so some lady gets on ours and there's a restaurant called Tres Hermanos in Simi Valley or something. And she's going on about how the patio was full and how people are eating and she's disgusted. And a lot of the people, are telling her, just don't go. If you're scared or you're worried, like order takeout or something. And we're sick of these people bad-mouthing these small businesses still trying to make it. But it's so crazy. Like I would say 75% of the responses were like agreeing with her. Like, when are these people going to take this? Because they don't wear their masks, they're going to kill us and they don't care. I'm like, dude, they still don't get it. Still don't get it.
I don't know if you saw the post that I put up the other day about day 21 of the mask off event. But I went to the post office, right? And I'm in there and I'm in line. There's a pretty long line, right? People in front of me, people behind me. And the lady behind the desk like, sir, you need to put on your mask. And the lady behind me, I just ignored her, right? And the lady behind me is like, just tell him you have a medical condition. I'm like, yeah, I know this one, right? So I'm like, yeah, I've got a medical condition. And then another lady over at one other of the desks, was like, well, what is your medical condition? And so I know the routine. And I'm like, I'm legally not obliged to tell you what that is. I don't have to disclose that to you. And she's like, well, then you'll have to speak to a supervisor. I'm like, cool, bring them out. Right. So a few minutes later, the lady behind me in the line, she's like, yeah, this is all bullshit. And she's still wearing her mask like below her nose. Right. She's like, I wish I could take it off. I wish I had the courage to do it. I'm like, do it, do what you feel is right, man. But she's like, no, I can, I'm like, cool, whatever. But she's like, yeah, I'm totally down with this. Right. So anyway, a couple minutes later, supervisor comes out, doesn't come up to me. All right. He goes up to all the other employees there and he talks to them a little bit, and then he goes back in behind the wall, whatever. Right. And so the guy in front of me starts talking to me. He's like, yeah, he's like, see this fucking mask? Like, dude, it's like there's some flimsy ass piece of shit. Everything comes through it. It ain't stopping anything, man. It's all bullshit, man. I'm like, yeah, that's right, bro. Fucking dude. Everybody knows that masks are bullshit, right? So I get up to the counter, right? It's my turn to come up. And the lady's like, sir, I can't serve you unless you're wearing a mask. And I go, it's against the law to discriminate against people with disabilities. So she goes, fine. So all you got to do is stand up and tell these people, bro, I'm not going to fucking wear it, man. I'm not going to wear it. And I've been going to these stores now, Walmart, Target, Ralph's, all these places now with no mask on for weeks and weeks and weeks. And they don't even fuck with me anymore, man. They don't even ask. They don't even bother, man. And if they do, I got the paperwork to back it up, bro. And I'll put that shit in this show, in the show notes, man, so people can use it. People want to watch it.
Our gym, we don't even. They used to walk around and make us like put it on. Now nobody's wearing a mask. Like, dude, if there was ever a candidate in this world that should come down with coronavirus, it would be me. I work out at Crunch in Northridge, Crunch Chatsworth, Crunch Simi Valley, Athletic Society. 4 gyms right there. I never wear a mask. When somebody says, oh, you want me to wipe that off? I'm like, nope. If it's really sweaty from their sweat, yeah, wipe it off. But otherwise, like, I use the same grips as they do. I scratched my nose accidentally. Remember Dr. Fauci said to wear goggles? Remember that whole thing?
Yeah.
I scratch my eyes like I'm doing this and I'm not even realizing it.
Yeah.
And like let me
It's-
tell you what I wrote on Facebook really quick. I'm gonna read this to you. Hold on.
But I'll just say it's complete bullshit, dude. My roommate and his girlfriend had it. I was in close proximity to both of them. She was exhibiting symptoms the whole fucking nine. He tested positive like several times over, and I was in close proximity. I never fucking got it. And even if I did have it, I never fucking showed symptoms, bro. It's bullshit. It's the only disease that you have to get tested to know that you got it. It's absolutely ridiculous, bro.
Here's what I wrote. Ready? You like this?
Go for it.
I wrote this an hour ago. Ready?
Yeah.
Dear God, what's a guy got to do to get COVID-19? This sucks. All these workouts, swapping sweat with strangers for 5 months now, all without a face mask on. Throw some of that shit my way. You give it to our obese 74-year-old president, then 3 days later, he has more energy than he did before. He looks great. Now let's move on to sports. I said, look what this pandemic has done to the two teams hit the hardest in Major League Baseball, the Marlins and the Cardinals. Both teams not have only recovered without incident, both made the playoffs. In fact, it was the Marlins' first playoff appearance in 16 years. Then you move to the NFL and you strike down the Tennessee Titans. These poor guys have been gutted so badly, they are yet to lose one game. This is my kind of pandemic. Ooh, I have an idea. Maybe you can hit the Washington Generals. You know who the Washington Generals are, right? That's a team that's played the Harlem Globetrotters and lost all the time and lose all the time. Maybe you can hit the Washington Generals. Hit them real good. This will definitely end their 63-year losing streak to the Harlem Globetrotters. Hell, they would easily take out the Lakers, but you got to give them the Rona first. Anyway, thanks for hearing me out. If you decide to smite me with it, maybe I'll run the Boston Marathon that same week. Thanks for hearing me out, Joey. It's such bullshit. Like, come on. Like,
For real.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, I every time we do a show, I'm such a wimp. Like, I'd be the first one who's like kind of scared. And, you know, this is so now, but, you know, now after you realize 9/11, what the government is capable of, and you just know, like it's going to happen. But here's the sad world we live in. There's a guy. He's a bishop. He did a podcast about Kobe dying and how this all tied in with Kobe. You got to watch it, dude. It's insane. Like Kobe had all these lawsuits going, and he was in China, and he was going to start a new basketball league. But a lot of it ties in with Kobe. But
It ties into Haiti and the Clinton Foundation, man. Right?
Yeah, I didn't even know you knew that. Yes. So supposedly he was going to tell on the and you know the stuff is coming out now with the emails. But this bishop, he's a black guy. He says exactly what I said months. I just heard this on Saturday for the first time. I've been saying for months, we are so fucked now in this world because, and he said the same thing I'm about to say, but he's black, so he can say it. He said, the people that are in charge of all this chaos and doing all this know that target the black person. Put a knee on George, what's his name? George Floyd's neck. Shoot at Jacob Blake. That because white people will not, or Mexicans or Pakistanis, or they will not. Nothing will get us in the street. One thing: if Joe Biden becomes president and everybody and their mother that we know voted for Donald Trump, and that's the only thing that will get a bunch of white dudes out in the street pissed off. But other than that, this black guy said for the rest of time, it was even Rodney King. You always target the blacks because he knows, and I'm not going to make fun of the stuff. He's making fun of his own people. I'm not going to say
a reaction.
They're all reactionary. They don't think.
Well, and also the liberals on the the left, who are motivated by emotions and feeling.
Yes,
they are triggered by this stuff.
Yeah.
Just like this.
Triggered.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, but it's true. Like even the reactions, they go by reactions. So like Jacob Blake, okay, we'll take him for example. The guy commits sexual assault on some woman. The police come, they're called, and whatever. So Kamala Harris turns this guy into a hero. I went to the hospital. I went to go visit him. And I told him, I'm proud of you. But in her own state, 2 cops get shot in the face. She doesn't, not a word of, hey, hang in there, guys. And even LeBron James, he was asked about it, I think 2 days after the shooting, they won a playoff game. and they said, "Hey, LeBron, what do you want to think about what happened with the cops getting shot?" No comment. No comment. I mean, come on. So this is the problem. Like when things are going good in our life, it could be a year, 2 years. I don't think things will be going good in our life anymore with all this shit going on. But that's besides the point. But they can do this every time. It'll be some guy. They're gonna kill some dude. It'll be all staged like this whole thing with Jimmy Floyd was.
They don't even just stage it anymore, man. They just pull up shit that happened earlier in the year. Like they did it with the guy in New York that had the spit hood over him or whatever when shit was was lulling down over all this the Breonna Taylor hadn't quite popped up yet and George Floyd was lulling. They brought in this video from a dude in January or February that had the spit hood on because the cops were afraid of getting the COVID. He was running around the street naked, and they detain him, they hold him down.
Oh yeah.
Right. And so, dude, they bring this shit up. They just did another one the other day of this kid in I can't remember the city, but it happened earlier this year, right? And so they hold this shit in reserve so that they can keep triggering people over and over and over again. And you can bet that at some point, maybe not between now and the election, but I'm betting it will happen, but definitely after the election, when the stuff is in flux and nobody quite knows who's the president yet, they're gonna throw some event out there that's gonna trigger people to go out there and march, and then eventually, peacefully protest and burn shit down. And it's just we know the playbook now. We've seen it several times how they do this stuff, and they're going to do it again, man. I guarantee.
Every time I see something on TV now, like doesn't even Fox News, they know, like it's always. I know it's not real. It's staged. It's completely staged. Like even that shooting in Denver. Did you see that? That guy, like he smacks the dude in the face. Did you see that? Some guy was just killed with.
Oh, dude. Oh, yeah. Now I don't know if that was staged, but I do know that. Well, no. Because the fucking guy's dead, and he was a
the guy might be dead, but there's a picture of the guy. I'm not a gun expert, but you can see like the bullet in the air, and it's still loaded in the magazine. It doesn't make sense.
Well, you're not talking about being in Colorado, right?
Yeah, with the guy that slaps the guy and the security guard in the face.
No. I'm thinking of something different, man. There was a thing at a march in Colorado. It was, people who were pro-Trump. It was a pro-Trump rally or whatever, and this BLM, the BLM, they came in. They called it a soup drive, right? And so BLM marches in there to bust up this right-wing, pro-Trump rally. They're throwing soup cans at the cops.
No, I'm talking about a different thing. But go ahead. Okay.
They're throwing soup cans at the cops. This thing it starts to wind down, and one of these agitators comes up and gets in the face of these white guys, black guy. He's like, shoot me, N-word, shoot me, come on, hit me, N-word, hit me, calling them the N-word. And I don't know why they do that. It's really like, really, dude, if you want to stop using the fucking word, stop fucking using the fucking word, right? So
anyway. So it's a black guy saying it.
Yeah, it's a black guy saying it. Right. Not like Rosenbaum where the white guy was like, shoot me, N-word, shoot me.
Yeah, that was
same thing, hit me, N-word, hit me this, hit me that, And so they're squaring off, and another white guy, older man, tries to come in and calm it down. He's like, don't touch me, old man, don't touch me, white man, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, up to the side, there's another guy that he's got a can of berry. He's like, mace me. Oh yeah, go ahead, spray me with this, spray me with that. Then off camera, there's a guy that he squares off with, and I don't know what happens, but he hits him with the bear mace. The guy pulls the gun, boom, shoots him in the head, dead. And it turns out that this guy he was supposedly a security guard for this NBC News crew.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yes.
Yeah. But he wasn't even, he was hired by Pinkerton, but he was a third party hired by Pinkerton. He doesn't even have a security guard license, and apparently he is a BLM supporter, an Antifa supporter, and he's pro-left. And so essentially now the media is hiring people to assassinate right-wing protesters.
There you go. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stage. Like that's what I'm saying. Like it's a setup. It's not like anything you see is not what it is on the news. It's just crazy how I mean, this will never end because the same people are too stupid like to keep falling for it. No, they're just gonna keep falling. Like, so that's what I was telling you. Remember that one Karen in Central Park walking her dog? That black dude was a bird watcher.
Yeah.
So did you see the latest one about the girl holding the dog, throwing it at that guy?
No. Oh yeah. Yeah. I've seen that. Yeah.
Same thing. It's a woman wearing black, a blonde, always blonde, blue eyes. She's holding a dog. She throws a dog at the guy, and it looks like the dog actually belonged to the guy. He's like looking at the guy the whole time. Like, I think it's all staged, and then the guy's got like 4 million views, and some people think the woman was like MK Ultra mind control. What are you gonna say?
Okay. No, I'm listening to you, so I'm thinking, I'm like, okay, like, so you're saying that they're using these cutouts or these Manchurian Candidate type ultra people, and they're just triggering them whenever they need them. Boom, boom, boom. Trigger this one, trigger that one.
It's weird. Like you saw it, right?
Yeah.
Isn't it strange? Like, who acts like that? And then this black guy's like, yeah, look at my jewelry. I'm rich. And look at they're trying to pit like the white stereotype against the black stereotype, and then the girl throws the dog, and it's just everything. You can't trust anything you see anymore. You can't trust anything you see.
And it reminds me of what was it? The Running Man. Remember?
Oh, I love that.
They completely, mapped over his image. When they were showing him getting fighting and then getting killed, and they're like, "Oh, Ben, what's his name is dead. He's dead. It's over. We won." And then they come out with the real footage of what happened over the butcher of Bakersfield, how he was labeled as the butcher of Bakersfield. He killed all these innocent people that were just, rioting for food. They just want to eat. Come on. Why do you want to kill them? And it turns out that he was trying to prevent that from happening, but they manipulated it to look like he was the one that killed all of them, when in fact it was the government. So yeah, dude, you can't believe what you see on TV.
Nothing.
You have to do deeper research. You have to go to alternative news sites. You have to really question everything you see. Now, I mean, there comes a point at which, I have to admit that I reach a point where I'm like, dude, what's fucking real? Is the counter argument real? What is real anymore? But if you drill down far enough to the real evidence, so like what I showed you earlier with those overlay maps, right? The lady that put that stuff together.
Yeah, that stuff is real.
The Assistant Secretary of Housing for, this is a housing and urban development for, the U.S. government. And she exposed a big fraud in South Central Los Angeles where people were, not flipping properties, but using properties as ways to launder drug money and then default on those properties. I have to watch it a little bit further, but these are the kinds of people, these are the kinds of facts that you need to drill down to. You can't accept what Wolf Blitzer's telling you or what
they do.
People do. And it's very believable. And it comes from way back in like the 60s, and the 70s when these people were they were believable, they were trustable. Walter Cronkite and these guys, they wouldn't give you spin, they would just give you facts. And over time, it's been infiltrated by the CIA and these other groups that have an agenda that want to manipulate us to believe a certain way. So,
yeah. And I was that kind. And by the way, going back to the movie The Running Man,
tell
me Richard Dawson wasn't one of the coolest dudes ever. Yeah. I mean, how old are you? You're way younger than me.
I'm 48, so I know all about it.
That's right. You really remember how cool it was? Family Feud, he'd kiss all the contestants.
Yes.
What does Schwarzenegger says? Like, Killian, I'm gonna take this fucking microphone and shove it up your goddamn ass.
Yes.
Dude,
he goes, my favorite line in that movie, because it involves Arnold's key line that he says in every movie, which is "I'll be back."
Yeah.
And then Dawson reaches in and he goes, only in a rerun.
That was good. Yeah, only in a rerun. You gotta go. Yeah, that's such
beautiful.
A good. Steroids make you deaf. I love that movie.
Yeah.
Total Recall, such a good movie. Oh,
I might go watch that tonight, man. I got this great service. It's called Got TV. And if you guys, it's called Got TV. So if you guys ever want to sign up for this, it's called Got TV Entertainment or GotTVENT.com. It's $24 a month, man. You can have 3 devices. So these are smart TVs, these are your smartphones or whatever. They're not a sponsor of the show, but if you do go sign up, put my name in there as the person who referred you. I will get like a $7 credit on my bill. So just say Nick Yaya.
Spell it. G-O-T?
GOTTV ENT.com. GotTVEntertainment.com.
So is this the kind of thing you get free pay-per-view too?
Bro, you get fucking everything. All right. You get it all. You get all the the Netflix, Amazon, HBO, Cinemax, like all this stuff. Then you get all the regular channels that you would get on cable, NBC, ABC, CBS, CNN, Fox, ESPN, all that stuff, bro. You get all the games. You get and one section, it's all commercial free, which is fucking beautiful, bro. I get all these shows commercial free. It's freaking awesome. But then if you want to just watch your traditional commercial television, you get it too. It's really great. It's really cool, man. And I totally recommend it to people all the fucking time. It's called.
So can I get rid of my Spectrum, whatever the fuck it's called?
Yes. Just keep your internet. That's all you need. That's all you need. Yeah.
Look at Got TV Entertainment.
Yeah, Got TV ENT. It's GOTTVENT.com. Yeah, I'll pull it up, bro. I'll freaking pull it up. I'll pull it up right now.
And then we got to tell everybody who won our contest for the name of the new show. I'll let you break the news.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, definitely, man. All right, here it is, man. Boom. Stand by. I'm pulling it up on the for people to look. I'm sharing the screen. Here we go. So there it is. Got TV. Let me make the screen a little smaller so I can manage it. But there it is, man. There's
top left. There it is. Got TV.
Yeah.
And it's 24 a month. That's it.
24 a month for 3 devices, and I think it's like 28 for 4 devices. But you can have it on your phone. You can have it on your smart TV. It's fucking awesome, bro. Is it legal? I don't think so.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but look, here it is. All right. So 3 devices, 1 month, $23. That's what I do. I just do that. I don't do the 3 months, 6 month, or a year because I don't know if these guys are going to be around. I don't fuck around. But $23 for 3 devices, $28 for 4 devices. All right. So there you go.
So
and tell them I sent you. If you say Nick Yaya, they say who referred you. You say Nick Yaya, and I get a little discount on my thing. And if you do the same, once you become a member and you refer other people, you get a little discount on your thing. Beautiful. We all come out ahead.
So if I do it on my TV downstairs and my TV upstairs, that's 2 devices already, right?
Correct. Yes.
All right, cool. Got it. All right. Very cool.
Yeah.
All right. So let's break the news about the show title.
All right. So ladies and gentlemen, man, we got a new name for the show. And here it goes right here, man.
Dun, dun, dun. The Jew and Mr. 142.
There it is.
Now, I would be the Jew.
I think you would be the
call him. Yeah, the reason wait, are you not Jewish? No, right?
I am not Jewish by birth. No.
Only by Jack. Oh, forget it. Anyways, so I'm the Jew and he's Mr. 142 because his IQ, Mr. Mensa over here, is 142.
What can I say?
I really want to. Is there something we can do online to test my IQ?
Yeah, I believe there's an IQ test out there.
Well, here's my thing. If we watch Jeopardy now, I would kill everybody. I would run the whole board. There's nights where I get like 70% of the questions. But ask me how to put a chair together, it would take me 6 years.
Well, look, IQ has nothing to do with any of those things. All right. IQ is about problem solving and how you solve problems in different scenarios and different situations.
It's not like math equations and stuff like that, right?
Nope, none of that shit, man, because I would have failed. If it was about math, I would have fucking failed.
So give me a quick example of something that might be on the IQ test.
All right. So something that might be on the IQ test that I can recall is like they will do 3 different shapes in like a sequence, and they'll say, what's the 4th shape? What would come next? So they'll do like, a block with half of it's black, and then the next block with the other half black, then the third one with the upper half black, and then you would say the fourth one would be
lower half black.
boom. Okay, so it's stuff like that you would see on an IQ test.
Okay, well, hopefully that'll be the easiest one of them because it's crazy. I just have like when it comes to trivia, I have an incredible memory. Like I'll watch. You know how many people have told me it's been a while, but dude, I'll kill you in Jeopardy. I'll smoke you. We'll go out to eat like after the gym. We'll watch Jeopardy restaurant. We'll have to put it made ladder, and I'll run the whole board. It's just crazy. I just have like a mind for trivia,
bro.
But,
you know what I miss, bro, is going to the fucking, what is that at the bar where you trivia night?
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm saying. I'd always win. Like we go to the bars and like they have a thing, I forgot what it's called. And I'd always win, always. But I cannot freaking, luckily Hilda, my wife, she's the most, not the handiest woman of all time. She's the handiest person. She's like an idiot savant of like putting things together. We could get like we ordered a crib for my oldest Juju one time, and dude, it was like 1,000 pieces. And I'm like, oh, we'll hire somebody. That's how my dad always taught us, like to hire, have a Mexican do it. I married a Mexican, so my dad always hired people. My dad was handy too, but he just I'll give some guy $50. So I'm like, oh my God, I'm not doing it. She goes, oh, you just don't have patience. I go, are you gonna do that? I swear, I went to the gym or something. I came back 45 minutes later, was already put in his room. I don't know how she does it. Everything. She can put anything together. My sex drive, but that's besides the point.
Some people have a gift for that, bro. That is not one of mine.
Yeah, she can put. It's crazy. Like, if there was a contest on ESPN or a show, like they should have a contest, like world's most handiest person, and they have the craziest things to put together. She would win. I'm sure of it. But I'm the complete opposite. I cannot. You know what it is? She's right. I don't have patience. Like I can't sit there and go. She goes step by step by step. Where I go like, oh, let's go to page 12 out of 60. I cannot put anything together.
Dude, I can't read those instructions like that shit. I look at that shit and it just doesn't make any sense to me. You know what I mean? They're like, they show a little screw and they show a hole and they show an arrow going into the hole from the screw. And I'm like, it freaks me the fuck out. Like I don't get it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I'm like, I throw that shit out. I'm like, give me the fucking screw, give me the fucking thing. I'm gonna put it together, bro. I figure it out. I fucking figure it out, man. I don't need no goddamn instructions, man. So that's the weird thing about IQ, intelligence quotient, is that it's not necessarily related to your ability to do certain things. You know what I'm saying? Like I do when certain things, I'm a fucking idiot. But other things, I'm a fucking genius, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So is it? Let's say. So what would happen? Not that you would know the answer. Let's say over the span of a week, you did like. How long is an IQ test? Is it like 30 questions, 20, like 10?
It'd take you fucking like 20 minutes or something.
Oh, okay. So let's say you did 6 IQ tests of different kinds of IQ tests. Would your score be pretty much the same every time, or could you do one that is like, oh shit, this one was fucking hard?
I think I'm pretty sure it's like a general test because I took it once when I was a kid, and my score was 142, and then I took one maybe about 8 years ago, and again my score was 142. So I think it's a pretty consistent thing. It's a standardized test, if you want to call it that. That marks your IQ. So yeah, dude, maybe we could do an episode where we do one online.
Yeah. Yes.
We do like share the screen and we'll show like what each one of us is doing or something. That would be kind of cool, bro.
But isn't it also, and I guess not, like, doesn't emotion play a part of it? Like if you like, because I'm more of an emotion guy. Like
that's a completely different test. EQ, emotional quotient.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Or like getting frustrated or something like,
No, I mean that plays no role in that kind of stuff, dude. So, I mean, I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they suss it out, or what the parameters are for the test. But again, like I said, it seems to be pretty consistent with what it is,
Yeah.
And I'm like I said, I'm smart in some things, but stupid in other things. But overall, I think in general, in terms of I think it's all about like assessing overall situations,
right? And how to attack it.
Right. Like I suck in math, bro, and like algebra. Like I'm
the worst.
Yeah. But in English, and writing and stuff like that, I completely excel. I'm really good at that stuff. I'm good at words, so, but it doesn't take any of that into account. None of that fucking matters, dude. On those little bubble tests, bro, I would always do super well. I would end up in like the top 5 percentile of the nation or whatever.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be in the top 1% because my math sucked.
Yeah, I used to be friends with this Swedish guy. I think his name was Mishi. This guy was when I say no street smarts, like he had 0 street smarts. He was the easiest guy to pull practical jokes on. Uh-huh. He was so oblivious to everything. But I guarantee if that guy took an IQ test, it would be like 200. He was so smart. He ended up being he's like a multi-millionaire lawyer now. Yeah. But he was so dumb. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, you could.
No, you can get over on me like on some, like, I mean, I've by hit and miss, worked my way through the street smarts and I finally have become educated. But there's still some things where I'm like completely oblivious to, like certain like subtle social cues that like in a setting with with females or something that I might not pick up on, like at a bar, and like, bro, she's totally into you. I'm like, really? I don't even fucking know. You know what I mean? So there's like certain things that like I'm not hip to it on the human level, on this level, on this plane. You know what I'm saying? But on like a spiritual level, or on thinking about things at a certain level, I'm on that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's a very horrible explanation.
No, I know. I get it. But for me, yeah, I understand. But for me, it's like
a cognitive level. That's what the word I was looking for.
Yeah, cognitive. For me, it's like I see things like the whole everything that's going on now. The government, like I was calling all this stuff in March. Like I've done so much research and
about, bro. You might have a high IQ. It could be Mr. 141 and Mr. 142. I'm telling you, bro.
I like we still have to be the Jew and Mr. 142. But I just see like all the stuff that's happening now. Like I just know what's going on. I know what's going to happen. I've talked about it before. Arguing with my neighbors in the street in early March. I think March 11th was the day where they said it was officially, when he had the press conference. But can you hear me? Are you there?
Yeah. I can hear you.
You're frozen. There we go. Oh, there we go.
Okay.
So March 11th, I remember
you got the gift, bro. You got the fucking gift. Because I had the same thing. The day that they announced that shit on the radio, I knew. I rolled my fucking eyes. I go, oh, fucking, here we go. Here we fucking go. I know it. I knew it. Yeah. You knew it too, bro. Yeah. And people who have a high intelligence, have high IQs, or fucking tuned in like you are, like I am, and like a lot of our listeners out there, we fucking know the difference between bullshit and what is fucking real.
But what bothers me is like you're like you're super smart. Like you get it. I just don't. I get so frustrated because I don't see how these other people don't get it. Like really quick, like the whole gematria thing. What's the chances of the Lakers? Okay, Kobe Bryant dies in that plane crash, right? The helicopter crash, right? He ended up that he was killed by the governor of Illinois, Pinkerton, I think his name is, or Pinkston or something. He's such tied into the mafia. Kobe was going after him. He owned the helicopter where he crashed. So I told you how like everything is coded and scripted. And do you know what day the Lakers won the championship? On Father-Daughter Day.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I mean, come on. That's like, what's his name? Chadwick Boseman. That's like him dying on Jackie Robinson Day in Major League Baseball.
I forget I forget what they call that, Joey, but there's a certain, it borders on it. Now, don't get me wrong, because I am a part of the same thing, but it borders on paranoid schizophrenia, which means that your mind it's attuned to look for inconsistencies or patterns within a story. And so we as humans, actually human beings in general, are designed to look for patterns in our environment to help us survive. All right. And there are those of us who are more attuned to it, And there are others of us who are less attuned to it, or who choose not to be attuned to it because the alternative is scary.
I know. I'm not gonna. I know. And a lot of my friends, like you just did when I talked to them about this, they get worried that, oh my God, you're like falling into that rabbit hole where all the numbers. I will never let it control my life, but it's just crazy how, I really want this guy to become a Zachary Hubbard. I want him to come on our show and like all the Apple stuff and Steve Jobs and then the day, like, you got to listen to one show. I'm going to give you, will you listen if I send you a link? I want you to listen. It's an 1.5-hour show. I want you to listen to the guy and how the numbers keep tying in. And you got to know the numbers, though. Like 56 is a big ritual number. 47. How many times have we heard it for Washington and government? I've been in government 47 months. You've been in government 47 years. They use the same numbers. 56 they keep using. Right. So, I just don't like the father. They went on and don't forget the schedule was changed because of coronavirus, right?
Right.
So there wasn't even supposed to be a scheduled game in October, whatever it was, 10th, 12th last week. The new season is starting pretty much on this time. And so the Lakers win the championship and they play the Miami Heat, the fire the helicopter, and they win it on Father-Daughter Day, and Kobe dies in the car crash with his daughter.
Right. No, dude, no. And bro, I mean, I don't know a lot about gematria, but I do know a little bit about numerology.
Yeah, it's numerology. It's Kabbalah.
And I've always been one who has been observant of signs. Especially more often when I smoked pot, like I would see the patterns, I would see the signs a lot easier. Now that I've stopped smoking pot, I still see the stuff. I still see the patterns. I still see the numbers. Certain times I will look at the clock. If you look at the clock, you see 11:11.
Yeah.
A big number for me is 10:27 because that's the time of the day I was born, and I will often see that. And to me, that's rebirth. 11:38 is another big number because that lines up with THX 11:38 when the guy, I don't know if you know about the movie that was by not Spielberg but Star Wars, Lucas. It was one of his early movies, and it was about a guy who THX 11:38, and it was about a guy that was his number, his designation, and they were living in this dystopian post-apocalyptic society in this underground world where everybody was controlled. It was kind of like that movie, the Island, where everyone had a regiment, they all had a number, they all did the same thing every day. And this guy figured out that there was something more going on, and he wanted to fucking break out of it, and he does. And he runs and he runs and he gets up to the surface, bro, and he finds out that there's a whole world up here, this whole natural world that's been hidden from all of us. And so when I see 11:38, it indicates to me that it's something bigger, something more expansive is going to be revealed to you. And 10:27 reveals to me is the number of birth. It's the number of life beginning. And so when I see these numbers and I see other numbers like 111 or 1111 or
111 is a huge number in gematria,
right. Right. 111 is my co-name on Nick Yaya 111 is on Facebook and on all these other things. So I'm definitely aware of those things and aware of numerology. I mean, I'm a 9. I was born on 8/18/1972. If you add all those numbers up, 7 + 2 is 9. 1 + 8 is 9. All of it adds up to 9. I'm a fucking 9, and 9 is the number of the end of the cycle. And I'm at the end of the cycle here, and I'm about to begin a new cycle. And so at the end is where everything all comes together, man. And that's what the day we're living in. That's the time we're living in, is this whole end of a cycle of the end of evil. And this is talked about in the Bible.
I hope it's the end and not the start.
Yeah, it's the beginning of something new is about to become, but we are living in the end, and with that becomes a lot of destruction, a lot of pain and suffering. However, at the end of it comes the rebirth.
Bring it.
Yeah.
All right. So we didn't tell everybody who won the money. You want to show them?
Yeah, I think I can show them. Bam.
$200. Well, that's really weird. When you hold it up, it does some funky stuff in the back. Hold the back. Whoa, look at that. Do you see it? It's like see-through. It's like,
Oh, that's because it's green and I got a green screen going.
but it doesn't do it on the other side.
Well, yeah, there's not a lot of green on the other side.
There he is. Spend it wisely, my friend. Order some hookers and Coke.
Ha!
Yeah,
That would be
for
the
$200.
thing to do.
No, Coke is so expensive now. It's crazy.
What? How much is an 8-ball these days?
Like $3.50.
What?
Yes.
That's like more than double the fucking.
I used to I won't go there.
Oh my god! I can't even afford to do cocaine anymore.
Dude, a friend of mine asked me to get him one. Like he's going to a bachelor party or something. I started making my phone calls. Like, the cheapest I can get is like 300. I'm like, fuck 300. Fuck you, 300. And I call another guy. He's like, yeah, 350 because we're friends. I'm like, dude, what the hell happened?
Wow.
Yeah. You know, the thing, meth is super inexpensive now.
That's what it is, bro.
Yeah. I went doing meth, dude. Yeah. So,
all right.
So
we got a winner. We got a winner. Thank you all for your contributions, man. We really appreciate it. I mean, there were a lot of good ideas, a lot of good names thrown out there, man. One of my favorites was the what was it? The liberal vaccine. I still really like that one, man. That was one of my favorites, bro. That's like definitely like a runner-up. We definitely got to throw that person like some bones or some shit for runner-up on that.
There was about 10 great ones on that Facebook post.
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully we expand this thing. We get this thing growing. We'll hit it once a week. We've been off for a couple weeks, so
and just to let you know, man, when I head out to Hawaii in a couple weeks, I'm gonna bring all my gear with me so we can do this too.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, we can definitely hook it up, man. Maybe I'll have in the background. I have all that, the lush Hawaiian landscape.
Yeah,
that'd be dope.
I want to go to Hawaii. I haven't been. The last time I went was my wife was pregnant with my daughter, so
yeah.
So we'll go.
All right, bro.
All right, great show, dude. You're gonna post it tonight?
Yeah, it's already up, man. It's all legit. This has gone live on YouTube, and then on what we'll have to do is once we end the broadcast here. Then you can repost. I'll send you the link, and you can repost it on your Facebook page.
All right, and as always, thank everybody for your support. It means a lot to both of us. And all right, Nick, we'll talk about it. I'll keep in touch.
All right, dude. I'm gonna put the end page up with our new logo, and then we're gonna sign off. All right, peace.